Yeah, really careless, sloppy. 5 turnovers, 11 points in that fourth quarter. And I don't think it was just to close the fourth quarter. I even thought early in the fourth quarter, we were playing almost like we were behind, playing in a rush, forcing things that maybe weren't there. And I think you have to have some discipline there to execute, work for the best shot, and not speed yourself up. So, when you lose 3 in a row, you'll take a win, and we needed one, especially on the road where we struggled this year. So I applaud our guys' effort. I thought the defense was outstanding. I thought we dominated the paint. But as you mentioned, we had 16 turnovers for 25 points, and 5 of 11 of those came in the fourth quarter. And obviously Bogdanovic had a big night. We gave him 10 threes, and we have to be better in terms of shutting down a guy who's got it going like he had tonight.
Julian Strother, nobody's surprised with his offense, but he had 4 steals in the first half. Do you see that in practice too?
Well, it was great. He just got Defensive Player of the Game, and he had 5 steals, 5 deflections. And to your point, everyone's going to look at the fact he was 6'11" and 3, 22 points, but his activity, not being hugged up, being in the right position, helping, and forcing turnovers where we can get out and run. I thought Julian was outstanding on both ends of the floor tonight, and that's so encouraging. We need Julian, and nights like tonight help his continued development and maturation.
And you've talked about it before. It seemed like when that second unit started gaining traction, they finally started getting stops.
Mm-hmm.
They got out and pushed the pace a little bit. I think a couple of those threes for Julian were in transition.
That's where it has to start. I mean, no disrespect to those guys, but if we're going to count on that unit to out-execute everybody in the half court, that can make for some long minutes. That group has to be a defensive-minded group, a group that attacks in transition, gets out and runs, put pressure on the opposing team. And I think we had some pretty good examples of that tonight with that group. So, it wasn't the prettiest of wins. As I was sitting there on the bench late, I could hear my father in my ear. For 9 years now, my father said, "You guys are just so predictable. You get a big lead, you stop doing what worked, and you give the lead right back." So I hear you, Dad. And luckily, we were able to pull the win out tonight. And we can watch film tomorrow morning before turning the page to Chicago and learn from it.
Did you sort of feel Jamal growing confidence in this one, sort of the third game back? Is this as sharp as he's looked since coming back from the injury?
Yeah, I guess so. Obviously, he had 29 points, 12 of 15 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. Talk about efficient. 9 rebounds, and obviously the 6 turnovers. He knows he has to be better in that area, but I love when Jamal rebounds. That, to me, shows that he's aggressive and he's impacting the game across the board. So, yeah, I mean, he's still on a minute restriction, and so to only play him 29 minutes, I was really happy about that, and to see what he did in those 29 minutes is pretty incredible. So, happy for Jamal.
Does the message, in spite of this one being a win, still sort of stay in the category of there might be one quarter in a lot of these games where we're losing focus, that type of thing for your team?
Yeah, I mean, luckily we were up enough where we lost by the fourth quarter by 10. But yeah, I mean, I challenged our guys before we came out in the court tonight. I challenged the starters. I said, you guys have an obligation to get us off to a great start. And we have to get back to playing with a sense of urgency and understand that we are the hunted. We are the reigning NBA champions. We are going to get everybody's best. That team had lost 3 in a row like we had lost 3 in a row. So I don't want anybody easing into the game. And I felt our starters did a pretty good job of that tonight. And listen, we can get a lot better. And we have another opportunity tomorrow night in Chicago.
It's the 6th back-to-back already. You guys have been able to handle the second ends of those pretty well so far, but do you approach it any differently with other minutes restrictions or giving guys a rest tomorrow, or are you going to go full force?
Yeah, we'll have those conversations on the plane with the training staff, kind of see where we're at.
Coach, mine's a bit more of a broader question. Nicole is obviously a fantastic passer, great court vision. Watching your team out there tonight, a few of the other guys seem to have almost adopted that sort of, sometimes it looks like they may be out of control, jump in the air, but then someone's cutting, someone's moving. Is that a result of Nikola and the way that he passes, or is it just sort of the way the guys are playing out there?
Well, it's something that we've been trying to instill for 9 years now in terms of just being selfless is a huge part of our culture, and that can be shown and illustrated in many ways, particularly on the court. And it's never about yourself, get over yourself. It's about the guy next to you. How can you make a play for your teammate on both ends of the floor? And we want to average 30 assists per game. It's a lofty goal, but the way we play is that the ball touches everybody, and we're all trying to make plays for the guy next to us. And I think it's not only the right way to play, but I think it's a beautiful way to play. And I think the Spurs did it for many years, had great success. Golden State did it for many years, had great success. And when you have a guy like Nikola, who is probably one of the most unselfish superstars I've ever been around, I think everybody else just kind of falls in line. But it's part of our identity, and it helps when your best player is one of the most selfless guys in the league.
And did you know that Serbia are actually 6-time 3-on-3 world champions, and a big part of their game is just move that ball. Everyone gets involved. Is that something, again, like you see like from Bogdan Bogdanovic tonight? I know he was hot shooting the ball, but these guys from the Balkans really know how to pass and cut and move and find each other.
Yeah, what you find is, those guys start playing so young, and more importantly, they're not just playing when they're young, but they're being taught when they're young. I mean, there's a big difference. I think in the United States with AAU basketball, guys are playing a lot of basketball, but are they being taught how to play? And the best coaches in the world, like a guy like Pete, named Pete Newell, teach the why, teach guys how to play and why they're doing what they're doing. And there are so many examples from guys in the Balkans, as you mentioned, that just have a high IQ. They've been well coached from an early age, and they know how to play the game. They know how to not only help themselves, but more importantly, help their teammates. And I'm just really thankful that we have one on our team who's, in our opinion, the best player in the world.